Hello and welcome. My name is Magnus Oraka. You see, today in Nigeria, to be very frank, I don't know who I should be angry with. Should I be angry at the politicians who have sworn to be as devilish and as evil as they can be when they come into power, or the very people who have a choice to choose between evil and good, but yet, due to their evil biases, decide to choose what is evil for Nigeria? So sometimes I'm confused as to who to really support. The case of Abia State, as governed by Dr. Alex Otti, should tell us a lot. I mean, should really tell us a lot. Here is Tinubu as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, giving excuses that in just 9 months, we should not be complaining. In 9 months, blah, 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 is less than... I even saw one video of one Yoruba guy who was, blaming Yorubas, that why should Yorubas be complaining of hunger when Tinubu is just barely 8 months in governance. So, the truth is that, judging from the Abia State experience, one is not asking for Tinubu to fix Nigeria overnight. One is just asking to see the signs that, yes, things will be better. You do not ask a country to take baby steps of pain, while the same people you are asking to take baby steps of pain are seeing you giving your ministers and senators Lexus, Toyota Jeeps worth 160 million, giving them fantastic amounts in their emails, and you are asking the very poor man who paid their taxes to endure baby steps of pain. Now, the Abia State experience is something that calls to mind. Since the Abia State government commenced their administration, they have not complained. One is wondering, where is the money coming from? I'm seeing the governor, establishing different projects. And today, in barely 9 months since he was sworn in, we hear it all over the internet that the people of Abia State are enjoying 24/7 power supply. This is the 48th hour now, and I've seen a lot of people from Abia State posting and certifying and confirming the truth that, yes, Abia State is indeed enjoying 24-hour power supply. So what is it they did differently? What was it exactly they did differently? It's simple. I've told those that are saying, let us split, let us separate, let us do this, let us do that. And look, the problem we have are leaders who are tribal champions. And the moment you have tribal champions as leaders, there is no way such a person with a mindset will do what is beneficial for all. Because his mind is so limited to a small scope that is contained by his tribal preferences. Imagine somebody has a big mind, a big heart, a big mind, a big head that contains the interests of everybody, small and big, north and south, Christians and Muslims, that has no agenda or bias. Such a leader can definitely do well for this country. Like I said, for those who have been listening to my video, if you recall when Buhari was in his medical sojourns, Osibanjo took charge of this country in 3 months, and in 3 months, we saw the difference. And because the North didn't want a Yoruba man to take the praise, somehow they forced Buhari to come back to continue the destruction he has. Buhari, during his tenure with Idiagbon, look, Nigeria has the ability to become good. Some of you who were born lately, who didn't notice that there was a time Nigeria had 24-hour power supply. There was a time our roads were very good. There was a time we never had armed robbers on our road. There was a time we never had kidnapping on our road. There was a time you went to the market and bought things very cheap. That was why our parents could afford children as much as 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like my mom. Because there was food to eat. There was food to give to any number of children that you have. There were some of you who didn't understand that there was a time when I went to primary school and secondary school, I didn't buy textbooks. Government supplied textbook for me. These things are possible. But we have greedy, stealing, thieving politicians. And please, don't tell me that these thieves, these politicians that are thieves, are only limited to the north, or limited to the south, or limited to Yorubas, or limited to Igbos, or limited to Christians or Muslims. Everybody in Nigeria are thieves. Every politicians in Nigeria are thieves. But there are few ones. It's just that we have become used to their thievery, such that when the good ones come, we lack the ability to understand them. So, the likes of Alex Otti of Peter Obi should remind Nigeria what we would have gained should we had had a Peter Obi as president. Here is a person that became the governor of Abia State. He never asked where the money was going to come from. He never asked or blamed his predecessors. What did you steal? You did this, you did that. Fixing the Abia State government, fixing Abia State is not going to be easy because of the rot they met. It's the same excuse we had from the APC government. Imagine an APC government blaming another APC government. APC handed over to another APC government, and yet the same APC government is blaming the other APC government. If the Tinubu government was true to its word, why don't you invite Buhari? Because Buhari no longer has immunity. Your immunity ends as at the time you handed over to another president. So why don't you invite Buhari over and let him explain how he managed the country to the point that it has attained this humongous rot? No wonder while Buhari was living, he warned and said if anybody invites him to come and answer any question, such a person will see. Imagine the blatant arrogance that I have done it, there's nothing you can do, and if you try to do anything, you are going to see what you bargain for. This is the blatant arrogance that the Fulani cabal used to suppress us. They blackmail us with violence, so much so that when we anticipate this violence, we stay in line and refuse to do what is necessary. I'd like to thank the great people of Abia State for being so conscientious enough to select a governor that has vision, to select a governor that means well for the people, a governor that recognizes and is in touch with the suffering of the masses. The masses are not asking for too much. The masses are not asking for bags or noodles of rice or soaps or biscuits or loaves of bread that they will be flogged in order to get just a loaf. The masses are asking for just the enabling environment for them to thrive in their daily business. No Nigerian is lazy. Every Nigerian wants to work. But you want to have the power to drive your barbing salon. You want to have electricity to drive the welder that is welding wants to have power to drive his welding machine. We want to have affordable fuel so that transporters can have means to transport millions of people that wants to move here and there at affordable prices. Knowing fully well that the products of the Nigerian market is directly related to the price of fuel, one should have been more cautious in saying how fuel subsidies remove. Not one drunken cocaine sniffing president who comes to say whether you like it or not, fuel subsidy is gone forever. Such leaders who have no direct empathy on the sufferings of the masses cannot evolve policies that are directly beneficial to the people. So when I see the government of Abia State achieving these landslides, these landmarks, without complaining that they didn't meet monies in the bank, they didn't see this, they didn't see that, and yet they're achieving what they're achieving. What did Alex Otti do to revive the electricity generating potentialities of Abia State in less than 9 months? That Tinubu could not show us signs that, okay, you are working towards this. Rather, what we saw was the intention to buy a presidential yacht, giving senators brand new jeeps, throwing money to their emails, moving parastatals from Abuja to Lagos. Well, I'm not surprised about that. When somebody tells you that it is Yoruba turn, you clearly know that he has a tribal agenda. So perhaps he is coming to say what was robbed from the, what was assumably robbed from the Yorubas should go back to the Yoruba land, which probably explains why he's moving some sensitive parastatals back to Lagos. There are some people who have not come to the terms that Nigerians are one, and these are mostly the tribal champions I often at times referred to. They still believe that they are Yorubas living in Nigeria. Some believe that they are Igbos living in Nigeria. Some believe that they are Hausas living in Nigeria. And until we begin to channel our modus of choosing leaders to select those who lack these tribal dispositions, we will never get it right. Take Atiku, for instance, who boastfully said that Northerners will not vote for any other person except a Northerner. Imagine someone like that becomes the president. Of course, he has already mentioned and, portrayed himself as a tribal champion. Imagine someone who said that it's Yoruba local, it's Yoruba stone. Rather than fan the embers of unity, has fanned the embers of disunity, to the point that people are expressing their disunity by physical attacks. We cannot forget immediately the attacks that were done to that woman that sustained injury but still summoned the bravery to come back and complete his vote. We cannot forget immediately those who threatened and said, if you are not voting for Yoruba, leave their town or go back to where you come from. We shall not forget immediately those who somehow satisfy themselves just because they have an unquenchable hatred for another tribe. It's painful that after spending 100 years together, we have not still managed a way to tolerate one another. These tribal differences and unnecessary tribal proclivities are informed by a low mental IQ, a low mental intelligence. We must find a way to get rid of this. Otherwise, we will keep going around in circles just as we are. I was telling my son that there was a time when I was young, when I was very, 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 very young. That was sometime in 1977 or 78. In 1978, I was young. I should be around 11 years old or younger. I was praying to God, and I was really praying fervently. I said, God, if I grow up, please just bless me with 30,000 naira. With 30,000 naira, I can buy cars, I can build houses, and open a business. I pray God has not answered that question, that prayer. God, please, I hope so you never answer the prayer. But the truth then is that with 30,000 naira, that time, you can actually build a house, open a business, and buy cars. The truth is that my prayers was done so naively, not knowing that today that same 30,000 naira cannot buy a bag of rice. As at the time I was making that prayer, a bag of rice was 50 kobo. This bag of rice that you are buying, it for those Indomie generation, you should recall that there was a time I grew up and I met this same bag of rice sold for 50 kobo. I bought it with my own hands. I put it on my head and took it back home. That was even 80, 81, 82 or thereabout. Bag of rice, 50 naira. 50 kobo, sorry. I bought a mudu of rice. This same mudu of rice that they are selling, how much now? 2,000. I bought a mudu of rice, 5 kobo. 5 kobo. A mudu of gari, 2 kobo. I recall a time when my brother, we were in the barrack as stubborn boys, as we call. I be stubborn person well. You see me, so I stubborn well. Me and my younger brother, we picked 20 naira, Muritala. We picked that money around 7 or 8. Me and my brother go market. We spend that money from around 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock. We still came back with change, and we threw the money away because we didn't want our parents to find out we could hold such money. Then a child, 100 naira is big money. Then how much was goat? A full-size goat. Big full-size goat. 7 naira, 6 naira. What it means? It's too much, chef. 3 naira. Full-size goat. So, it's amazing that consistent leadership who never had focus. We only have leaders who never had a dream. When they become elected as presidents, they now focus their goal on the supposed anger they have for Igbos during the war. Igbos did this, Igbos did that. And in an attempt to think that they are fighting for their people, they end up impoverishing their people so more. That is why, despite Katsina having produced more than 3 presidents, Katsina State still remains one of the poorest states in the world. What explains that? As a matter of fact, the only development Katsina State has was when Goodluck Jonathan became president and gave them a dual carriageway and a university. What was their leaders doing that they couldn't remember to give them university and develop their road? The biggest and best hotel in Katsina State is owned by an Igbo man. Now, that some of these northern states do not have the facilities for development is deliberate. Because if they provide the enabling environment for youths to become aware, if they create the enabling awareness for youths will start asking questions. And their continuous stranglehold on politics of the North will be dead on arrival. Northern youths will not be voting along these sentiments. Rather, they will choose who is right. Recently, I saw a young northern boy from Maiduguri admitting that the problem of this country is in northern states. Admitting that the problem of Nigeria is the North. You see, such a youth is exactly why the North has prolonged the status quo of ensuring that illiterates are prevalent more in the North than you can see in other states. So our problem actually is leadership. And a youth who have become deflated to fight for their right. I am approaching 60. I do not have the strength to carry sticks and placards and protest on the streets. But if we can have these youths to cut across their tribal enclaves, to hell if the leader is a Yoruba man or an Igbo man, is it going to provide dividends of democracy? Do we going to have people who give excuses why they have not, for goodness sake, 9 months in Tinubu's government, I can tell you that we have lost killing along religious lines, killing along ethnic lines is still prevalent. Are you really telling me that it is really that difficult to solve the unnecessary killings like the ones we experience in Plateau State? If I am the president of this country, I can solve that in less than 1 hour. Simple. I will tell this community to bring 20 able youths, give them 1 month military training and provide them with guns. Lead those youths to report weekly or monthly to the divisional police headquarters in such communities, so that they account for the weapons and the ammunition given to them. That way, they are given a fair opportunity to fight and defend their places. But because these ideas of attacking communities have an agenda that stems from the top, such a policy will not be given. You want to tell me that the people of Southern Kaduna, if you have a vigilante group, that you arm them sophisticated weapons, just the military, if you arm them with military grade uniform, and you ask them to report to the barracks, maybe the commandant, every month, a military chief comes to inspect and give account of what military weapons are done. At least you don't keep people so vulnerable that some ragtag religious bias useless people just come in the name of ethnic cleansing, killing innocent people without a chance of defending themselves. At least it is better that you went and then there's casualties. Somebody walks to a community, kills hundreds of people, and not one single member of those who came to perpetrate the mayhem is hurt. In Plateau State, over 300 people were killed. Not one member of those who came to execute that mayhem were killed. And whenever those victims attempt to retaliate, the military come to stop them. We must be sincere. When Buhari was recruiting so-called repentant Boko Haram into the military, I knew then that was the end of our military. I knew then our military was gone. Until we have a leader that will provide a truly Nigerian military, until we have a leader that will provide a truly Nigerian police, until we have a police that will provide a truly Nigerian customs, not a custom that we see a truck loaded by an Igbo man, you pay a different tariff. When you see a truck loaded by a Hausa man, he pays a lower tariff. That is not a country we must call our own. Our problem is lack of sincerity and lack of honor. How do you employ a minister who is still serving under the National Youth Service Corps. We do not have honor. How do you bring somebody to Arise TV and you are trying to defend what is indefensible? Whether you like it or not, the Tinubu government is a failure and the Tinubu government cannot improve. If you are thinking that let's give them time because they are asking, when it was 4 months, they say it is too early to criticize them. They are just 4 months. When it was 9 months, they are still telling you it's too early. So, how long will we take these baby steps of pain? Setting the pace and giving the example. Please, let Tinubu come down his high horse, go and meet Alex Otti and ask him, Obo, how you do your own? My name is Magnus Oraka. I say, please follow this page and share this post now.